Man, where did we leave off? I got sick last week. I had to stop recording for a little bit. And that means it's been 2 weeks since I recorded the last video. 2 weeks. Makes no difference to you, as the viewer, if I have viewers. I'm recording this, I'll tell you exactly, so you can, if you want to do the math, you can. I am recording this the day before the channel launches. So you can finally calculate how much I did before this whole channel started. None of the time in between makes any difference to you, because these episodes should just be coming out one after another. And hopefully they never end until we get through the whole book. The whole Bible. We're on chapter 39. We're almost to chapter 40. We're almost done with Genesis. I can't believe I've made it this far. Hopefully it's not all for nothing. Chapter 39 is called Joseph and Potiphar's Wife. I thought Potiphar was a girl. For some reason, I've just always heard that name, and I thought it was feminine. But we know Joseph is in Egypt. He was taken up by Potiphar, a man in the court. I guess that makes more sense when you think about it. Most people at the high level of power. I mean, I was going to say back in the day, but just generally speaking, it is still very male-dominant. Now, Joseph had been taken down to Egypt. My memory was correct. Potiphar, an Egyptian who was one of Pharaoh's officials. Oh, we don't say the Pharaoh. We just say Pharaoh, because if you say Pharaoh, you know who it is. The captain of the guard bought him from the Ishmaelites who had taken him there. So Potiphar bought Joseph. That's right, his brothers sold him into slavery. And then he lands in one of the highest courts, the highest court of the nation. The Lord was with Joseph, so that he prospered. I mean, yeah, I guess it's no coincidence that he ends up shoulder to shoulder with the Pharaoh, or shoulder to shoulder with the guy who is shoulder to shoulder with the Pharaoh. And he lived in the house of his Egyptian master. Is that Potiphar or Pharaoh? Which one is Joseph's direct master? When his master saw that the Lord was with him, how does that work? How did he see that God was with him? Most people today who claim the Lord is with them do not appear to have the Lord with them. Who's that guy out of Fort Worth with the creepy eyes? And that the Lord gave him success in everything he did. So I guess this probably is Potiphar they're talking about. He sees that Joseph has Lord with him and that God's giving him lots of success. It'd be amazing if it was that easy. Joseph found favor in his eyes and became his attendant. I mean, yeah. If you saw someone that was getting assists from God, it's kind of almost insulting that he makes him his attendant, actually. I'd be like, you're promoted, Joseph, from slave to actual attendant of the Pharaoh. He probably should just be Pharaoh, but, you know, Pharaohs are pretty prideful. They don't want to give up. I guess we'll see it. It's coming up. We'll see just how prideful Pharaohs can be. Or watch The Prince of Egypt, like I recommended in a previous video. Potiphar put him in charge of his household, and he entrusted to his care everything he owned. From the time he put him in charge of his household and all that he owned, the Lord blessed the household of the Egyptian because of Joseph. Not because of Potiphar's choice, not because of Potiphar, because Joseph was in the household. He's just sprinkling some blessing dust on every little household to go. It's like Tinkerbell in Peter Pan. There's a GIF of you can watch Peter Pan pat Tinkerbell in a kind of suggestive way, actually, to get all the Tinkerbell dust out. It's from the actual movie. The blessing of the Lord was on everything Potiphar had, both in the house and in the field. So Potiphar left everything he had in Joseph's care. That's probably a good choice. Here you go, Joseph. You have the blessing of the Lord. Make all of this awesome. With Joseph in charge, he did not concern himself with anything except the food he ate. So that's exactly what he did. It's exactly what I just said. Potiphar is a wise guy. Now, wow, this wording. Now, Joseph was well built and handsome. The Bible says well built. Bro, he's built. Man, do you see Joseph? That guy, when he takes off his fluorescent robe, he's built, bro. And after a while, his master's wife, so this is Potiphar's wife, that's the name of the chapter. And after a while, his master's wife took notice of Joseph and said, "Come to bed with me." Yeah, I mean, if people cheat on each other as easily as they do today, they definitely would have been back then. Look at that, well-built 17-year-old. That is how old he was. It doesn't say he's aged since we last heard about what happened. If he just came here, I believe he was sold into slavery when he was 17, so Potiphar's wife is like, wow. But he refused! What a good guy. What a good guy. He's not taking the wife of another man. We know what God does to people who do that. With me in charge, he told her, My master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns, he is entrusted to my care. I would think that kind of includes his wife. I mean, men pretty much have behaved or acted and culture. I mean, maybe they didn't. Was this not a part of ancient Egypt? I would think that the men acted like they owned their wives. They would consider them property. Feel free to tell me if that assumption is wrong, but I'm guessing it's not. I'm assuming it's not. No one is greater in this house than I am. A little arrogant, but he is well built and handsome. My master has withheld nothing from me except you. So he did. So she is his property? Because he's like, I withhold you, my wife. I mean, you could argue it's the sanctity of marriage, but I doubt it. Because you are his wife. Okay, so he does at least explain why she's being withheld from Joseph. And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her or even be with her. So she's just full-on seductress, full-on temptress, which is one of my favorite stouts out of Texas. It's a great craft beer. If you're in Dallas, check it out. One day he went into the house to attend his duties, and none of the household servants was inside. Shouldn't it be were inside? And none of the household servants were inside. Bible's just full of typos. Makes you wonder what else could be wrong in here. And none of the household servants was inside. Unless I'm missing something about grammar that doesn't sound right, but I could be wrong in this case. That's a possibility. Not wrong about anything else, though. Am I right? She caught him by his cloak and said, "Come to bed with me." But he left his cloak in her hand and ran out of the house. I forgot about this. I think Joseph's naked. I think all he wears is one single cloak. So if anyone's wife pulls it off, he has nothing left. Find out what happens. When she saw that he had left his cloak in her hand and had run out of the house, she called her household servants. Oh, what's she gonna do? "Look," she said to them, "this Hebrew," she calls him by his race, "this Hebrew has been brought to us to make sport of us. He came in here to sleep with me, but I screamed. When he heard me scream for help, he left his cloak beside me and ran out of the house." That is an awful thing to do. At this point, I'm just not surprised anymore. We've just seen person after person. No one does nice things for anybody. No one does kind things for anyone. People are ready to stab each other in the back or use others in their bodies for whatever services or benefits them in the most immediate fashion. She's bitter because this guy won't let her cheat on her husband, and now she's making false claims about advancement. She doesn't say directly that he tried to assault her, but at a minimum, it's that he was threatening to do so or had the intent to do so. She kept his cloak beside her until his master came home. So I guess, does Joseph not have any other clothes? Okay, so she's just keeping it for evidence. He could have gone and found clothes, but she has his robe. Then she told him the same story. That Hebrew slave you brought us came to make sport of me. That's such an interesting translation. I thought that like making sport of something was a little more modern. I don't know when the NIV was translated. They update it. Maybe it's like an update, or if that's just an old idiom. I just find it weird when the Bible steps outside of like really formal English and uses, oh wow, this is published out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Also a great place for craft beer. If you're in Grand Rapids, literally pull out Google Maps, type in craft beer, and many breweries will pop up, like small breweries, not many like M-A-N-Y, like M-I-N-I, mini breweries. Small breweries will pop up all over that city, and it's one of the best places in the country for beer. This was published in 2021. It looks like they've got copyrights on 1973, 78, 84, 2011. That looks like copyright abuse. So I guess maybe this idiom could have been added in. I doubt it. It's probably been in here for a while. Like, these things are cash cows. Why change the trend? Why add any work to an infinite source of money? I should start a Bible business. These things sell like hotcakes, or at least consistently. I mean, religion has been declining all over the world, I guess. I don't think it's been on the increase. I think it's mostly been on the decline. Maybe these people anticipated making more money than they have, and they're very thankful to individuals, atheists like me, who put money in their pockets. Then she told him this story. So it is the same story. That Hebrew slave you brought to us came to make sport of me, but as soon as I screamed for help, he left his cloak beside me and ran out of the house. When his master heard the story his wife had told him, saying, "This is how your slave treated me," he burned with anger. I mean, yeah, I'd be mad too. That's a reasonable thing to be upset about. Joseph's master took him and put him in prison. Okay, no benefit of a doubt. He's straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. The place where the king's prisoners were confined. So he doesn't even get his own cell. He just gets thrown in with the rest of the prisoners. And now I remember this. I remember this story. Joseph goes to prison. I know what's coming. I know what's coming in the following chapters. But while Joseph was there in prison, the Lord was with him. He showed him kindness and granted him favor in the eyes of the prison warden. They even had wardens back then. Man, Egypt was just a trend setter. How many things have they done for modern day society, despite their modern day problems? So the warden put Joseph in charge of all of those held in the prison. So Joseph just gets immediate authority over everyone, and he was made responsible for all that was done there. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. This guy just promotes like crazy. How come, okay, if the Lord was with Joseph, why didn't he just stop this whole situation in the first place? Why Joseph doesn't have to get thrown in prison? Everyone's like, the Lord has a reason for everything, but what's the reason he didn't do it any other way? Literally any other way. People are always like, well, don't question God's ways. That should be a big red flag, first of all. But then they're also like, he's omnipotent and he can do anything in any way he wants. Why this way? He could have done it any number of ways, but he throws him in prison for some reason. The warden paid no attention to anything under Joseph's care. Do I need to comment on this stuff? Do you guys need an explanation? Because the Lord was with Joseph and gave him success in whatever he did. So I guess just God selectively intervenes in the lives of his people, the ones he has follow him. That's the end of the chapter. That's the end of 39. It's just like whatever Joseph does. And so it's not that like God is directing Joseph's life. It's just that whatever Joseph does or whatever happens to him, God just like flips on the cheat codes in the game menu. And he goes, there you go, Joseph, enjoy the walk. The next chapter is called The Cupbearer and the Baker. And that's a fun one. I remember this being, I think this is in, what? I used to watch like a cartoon when I was a kid or something that has that story. It's an interesting one. We're getting into more rich stuff. You guys should really appreciate this channel before it gets boring. Before we get to the boring chapters. Here's my guess. Whatever the demographics are, however many followers I have, I don't know how many there's going to be. Whatever it ends up being, I think there's going to be like slivers or percentages of viewers. Where there's like a bunch of views like in the very beginning, like the intro or chapter 1 maybe. And then there's going to be like Genesis. And then there's going to be like huge drop off after number 1, huge drop off after Genesis. And then going into Exodus, those are the true follower. the real fans, the OGs. I don't know what I'm doing. That was so dumb. All right, next chapter is coming the next time there's a video. I don't know when this one's coming out. See you guys later.